Here we are again, the break between races of a doubleheader Saturday night. It's the perfect blend of the post-race high and the pre-race jitters. And when it's the opening round of the season, well, the highs are all the more high and the jitters all the more jittery. Streaming cyberspace into your place from North Wilkesboro Speedway, it's the Virtual Grip Network's opening round coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's Late Model Invitational Series, Season 28. Banks, Baylor, Butkus, greats all who never won a championship. Removed from that list the Canadian Goose John Wilson, who enters this season as the reigning and defending champion. Yes, the Goose has won titles in other less renowned BRL series, but truth be told, for many fans, if they didn't see it here on VGN, it just doesn't mean all that much. And nothing means more than a championship in the premier broadcasting spot, racing what many consider the premier car. John Wilson becomes only the 8th driver to claim a late model championship. Only Donnie Moore, Kenny Kibbe, and J.R. Shepard have won more than once. Moore and Kibbe have 2 each, while the Dark Shadow holds a spine-tingling 18 crowns. Season 22 champ Jeffrey Harden looks to join Moore and Kibbe with 2 titles, as does the Butcher of Baton Rouge Season 26 champ Joe Snyder. The longest journey begins with a single step, and drivers take that first step tonight. So pull the lever on the Lazy Boy and settle in for the simulated short track racing action about to stream your way. From the birthplace of the American stock car racing, a warm North Wilkesboro hello and welcome on this Saturday night, September 28th, 2024. Papa John Hine joins yours truly, Bill Soupson, high up in the VGN broadcast booth to bring you our Words Eye View. We play Ryan Seneca, turn the knobs, and pushing the sliders. All right, John, for some people it's hard to win here, maybe not for you. Tell us a little bit about this place.
It's a unique track. You go downhill on the front stretch, you go uphill on the back stretch. 2 different corners that you gotta drive them different, and it can create some issues with the car. Usually you got to worry about running the right front of the car off, but this track's gonna eat up that left or that right rear, so guys are gonna have to hang on to it those last 15-20 laps. A lot of them are going to be driving those cars sideways.
The racing we see the first 80 laps might be very different from the racing we see in the last 20 laps. We have a nice, healthy field of 20 drivers here tonight, including Jason Menda, the only driver out there with a win in this car at this track. The series has raced here 7 times before. A lot of those wins going to J.R. Shepard. Let's go ahead and talk about the format. We're back to our usual format, 100 laps on tap. You got to finish on the same tires that brought you, and no fast repairs. You can come in and get a repair, you just don't get a free car. Love that camera angle right there as we watch the cars go right underneath the flag, man. Should be a good one tonight. This and 10 more after.
Yeah, and hopefully we have a finish like that last race. From what I understand, it was pretty close.
It was indeed a good one. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch the SK Modifieds. It's a thriller. Stay to the very end.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of it the same here too, because I think the last 20-25 laps here, I think are going to be really interesting. This thing is going to eat some tires up. Guys are going to be slip sliding around, and like I said earlier, you got 2 different ends, 2 different things to have to attack and drive differently. It's really tough to get a solid rhythm here.
This is the point in the race where we usually talk about the points, but since we have a season opener, there are no points to show you. But we do have a message from Simon and Poindexter from the back smoke-filled rooms of those Vegas casinos. They've given us an over and under driver with a number. And tonight's over-under driver is indeed Alan Wanamaker, and the boys back in Vegas has set the line at 8.5. Okay, John, bet the under if you think he'll finish 8th or better, over 9th or worse.
I'm going to go the over. He's all the way back in 20th, and I do think there's going to be some carnage here, and starting back there, I think it's going to be difficult to miss some of that.
And 20th, you can't get much farther than that. Let's go ahead and run down the starting order now. It is Jeffrey Harden going to be starting in the pole inside of the kingpin, Joe Sagala. Bruce Pearson is going to be going in the third spot with Chris Hazlip in fourth.
Yep,
Tom
sorry
Hilbert,
about that.
okay.
I forgot I got to hit a button now. Tom Hilbert and Donnie Moore starting in fifth and sixth.
John Wilson will be going in seventh with the Butcher Baton Rouge, former champion, in eighth.
Lowell Jewell and Mike Holloway will occupy row number 5.
Adam Shane loves to come from the back. He's now about starting halfway through the field right now. In 11th, he's got Todd Liston to his outside.
Starting 13th is going to be the number 6 of Kurt Smith. To his outside will be Trey Bloom.
Brendan Meyer will be starting in 15th. All ribbons and curls in 16th position. It is the Chief, Steve Hilton.
Jason Menda, 17th, and Matt Hoos, 18th.
Then the final 2 drivers out there will be Alan Wanamaker and Jeffrey Happy Kemper. One of the drivers mistakenly signed in as a driver instead of as a commentator.
Well, I'm out there, but I'm out here, but I'm going to do a start and park just to make sure I get starting points.
Oh my goodness, can we get a close-up of car number 36? Is there a more... It's busy. That's a good-looking paint job out there for Jeffrey Harden. My gosh, I don't know what the colors are. I'm going to guess that it's like a maroon with purple and gold, maybe a black. I don't know. Oh. Black, yellow, and blue is what I'm getting from people with better rods and cones than myself, but it is a good-looking car. California Sim Club, the sponsor on that one. 81 is Joe Zagala to the outside. Glad you are here with us. This 1 and 10 after before we crown another champion. You know what to do. Josie Kirkland pulls the pace car in. Chug-a-lug, makes you want to holler. I-yo. Jeffrey Harden with a good start. Let's see with the outside line if they can get going. Joe Zagala cannot, but there is room to tuck down in front of Bruce. We got a problem. Oh, it is.
It's me.
It's you. What? Wait, I'm so confused.
I think everybody checked up a little bit more going into 1, and yeah, just an accordion effect I think happened there. But hell, I wasn't even talking, so yeah, that can happen here, and we got to watch for that all going in there, because like I said, this is one of those tracks where some guys can drive in really deep, and this is where some guys are going to back this corner up. So these restarts are going to be very, very interesting.
Jeffrey Happy Kemper involved in that one. Jeffrey started in the 21st position. I'm without words.
I mean, like I said, you know, and I know it's probably gonna look like Jeff kind of ran it, but it's just an accordion effect. Guys are braking at different points in here because there's some banking there, but if you look where a lot of guys are running down the bottom of the track, there's not a lot of banking down there. So, you know, if you get in there hot, you realize it really quick, and you really got to get on the brakes just to make the corner, just so you don't drive up the track and hit somebody.
Well, VGN has a rule about not interviewing people involved in the incident. I'm not sure if they're going to allow John to speak. Let's just go ahead and set the table for you while I try to get my wits about me. Jeffrey Harden has led all the laps so far from the pole. The man who started in second, that's where he remains, Joe Zagala. You look at a mover from the early grid, Donnie Moore, who started in 6th. He's still on the outside, but he did pick up 2 spots. Getting around Chris Hazlip, who I guess had to start from the back of the field, so let me correct myself on that. Hazlip got an end-of-line penalty. Tom Hilbert, not a good start. He was in 5th, has fallen back to 7th. Mike Holloway, outside of row 3, will be starting up 4 spots from where he went in the 23. Nice job. Okay. Well, I believe there are now 20 cars out on track, the appropriate 20 cars. And we go green. Jeffrey Harden holds the lead in that beautiful number 36. Look at the double deuce Bruce Pearson He gets underneath Kingpin Joe Segala in the 81. And I think Pearson's going to pick up that spot.
Matt Hoos might have an issue. He's backed all the way behind the field and is losing ground to the pack.
Is he just playing possum, or does he have a problem?
That's a good question.
Let's talk about the number 39, the Butcher of Baton Rouge, former champion 2 seasons ago. Ribeye Joe Snyder, he races in 4th position, started in 8th, he's cut that in half. Donnie Moore stuck to the outside. The man who has been on the move, Mike Holloway, he's going to make quick work of the 26, and he's going to bring with him the reigning and defending champion, the Canadian Goose, John Wilson. Wilson moves up into 7th.
Yeah, if there's a car out here that I'd like to get behind and just to learn, that Mike Holloway machine there, that 23, Mike is super good in these cars. You can learn a lot behind him.
A man who has a feel for North Wilkesboro, at least for right now, is Lowell Jewell. He's working to the inside of the Goose, and he's going to get that done. Does he bring along the multi-flavored machine of Todd Liston? I believe he will.
Hey, you might as well try these passes now while you got a lot of rubber on those tires, because here toward the end of the race, those kind of moves probably aren't going to work out very well.
It's single file all through the track except for John Wilson, who now gets down. So now we got ourselves a 20 float parade.
Oh, and our over-under driver, Alan Wanamaker, looks like he may have had some, we'll call it engine trouble, and might have been kicked from the server.
Oh, an early exit for Wanamaker. Plenty of time for him to come back, though. Probably puts him out of the conversation for a win, but certainly could work his way up into that magic 15th spot and see him on the pole for next round. That's the shot I like when they're single file. The director was reading my mind. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, here they come again. Count them. 19 cars on the lead lap coming your way. Oh, that's a good shot. Correct myself, 18 cars, as Chris Hayslip is still out there racing, though. 1 lap down in 19th. Wanamaker and somebody else have called it an early night. We ride on board with John Wilson. Now, John, I'm sure a lot of people will argue the point that a championship is a championship. But come on, isn't getting one in a broadcasted event, broadcasted series, a little sweeter?
Oh, sure. I mean, winning a race, winning a championship on one of the two that are broadcasted, there's a little difference to it. I mean, you know, you got the same group of drivers, so, I mean, winning those other ones early on in the evening and whatnot, you know, those are still good to get. I mean, they can make you feel good and do a lot for your confidence that can carry over into these other two series, that's for sure.
We got ourselves a nice train of cars.
And Alan Wanamaker is back on the track.
Yeah, we figured he would be. There's no give up.
I think that's a record time for an engine change.
Okay, I think the best battle on the track. Well, our director has found it. Side-by-side battle. Look at that battle for third. Former champion. Ribeye Joe Snyder. It's a battle of the Joes. Snyder against Segala. Ribeye against the Kingpin. Joe Segala, the owner of 6 300 perfect games in bowling. And right now, oh man, they are working. The outside line looking pretty good.
Yeah, the outside line earlier tonight was working a little bit. You know, you could get into the corner and get a little deeper into the corner, which really, Joe got really loose. Joe Snyder, or Joe Segala got really loose right there coming out of the corner. That's what you got to be careful off of if you're running up top there on corner entry. Can
we look at Joe Snyder's hood, if we're able to do that. You know what it says on the hood? It says, Butcher of Baton Rouge. And what I really like, as he gets loose, almost puts it in the wall, and is going to lose a position here to Joe Segala in a second.
Well, he was until Joe went for a bigger slide than Snyder did.
The letters on Butcher is dripping blood. Oh, that's a good-looking car. Lurking back there in the popcorn position is Mike Holloway in 5th, behind the two Joes. Harden and Pearson picking them up and putting them down. They're starting to gap the back of the field.
I will tell you this, as sideways as Snyder and Segala are coming off of the corners here, these guys are going to drop like a rock second half of the race if they can't get that car set down and get it calmed down a little bit.
The price you pay for a little VGN screen time. Right on board on our VGN drone. Looking at Todd Liston. Liston in amongst it right now. They are nose to tail. Jewel, Wilson, Liston, Shane, and Menda. There's a move.
We got a battle.
Yep. We thought he was coming. Here he goes again. That's Mike Holloway.
Whoa, and Segala shut the door on Donnie.
Donnie had a lot of momentum heading down into one, and Segala says, not this lap, full time. We got ourselves 3 wide situation. They get that sorted out. Now Liston stuck on the top. Shane on the bottom. Shane is very loose, but he saves it. Oh, my goodness.
Well, Donnie tapped the wall. I saw Liston tap the wall coming out of that corner that time going down the backstretch.
A lot of racing going on. A lot of rubber being burned. Behind John Wilson, who is loose, right in front of Liston and Shane.
All these guys are really fighting these cars. Those SKs were, they were stuck to the track pretty good. I mean, you know, they were a little loose coming off the corner, but, you know, you could manage it. But these things get downright evil if you don't treat them right.
The outside line prevails for Liston, unless Shane just had enough burning his tires on the inside. So Liston was able to win that battle.
Yeah, just real life too. You know what? These tires can get enough heat in them where they just start to lose grip, and you know what? It might not even be letting him go. He just might not have the grip levels to get up off the corner and just allow Liston to get right around him.
There's Liston now having a hard time getting the car to the low side. As he loses another spot.
Soup, we're working lap 32 here, and I'm going to tell you, the way these guys are moving around, man, I cannot wait to get to lap 70, 75, 80. Oh my gosh.
John, might this be one of the tracks where we actually see cars retire?
You know, I want to say yes by looking at it, but you know what? I've been surprised before. If we get some cautions, it might help them out a little bit. And I have seen literally near cautions almost every other lap, so I can't think we're going to go caution free to the end, but who knows.
We're a third of the way through. We've had one caution, but I believe there are more coming.
Yeah, if they're not sideways or bouncing off the outside wall on the backstretch, it's pretty entertaining to watch.
The two guys who battled for the championship in this series last season, Liston on the inside, Wilson, who got the best of that battle, on the outside. Lowell Jewell slowing them both down. Wilson gets tied up behind Lowell Jewell. That allows Adam Shane to bring his car underneath. Now Liston loses momentum. The outside line prevails. Now Wilson's going to roll the top side. I'll say the track's putting on a pretty good show right now.
Sure is, and if you're on the outside, you know, it's not necessarily, I don't think it's necessarily the faster line, But if you can get up on somebody's quarter pound coming out of the corner where they've got to keep that car down, I'm watching those inside cars just really almost snap loose coming out of the corners.
Let's look at the leader, Jeffrey Harden. Let's go ahead and tell his lovely wife, Brandy, to get to the freezer, start defrosting the steaks, because your man is having it all his own way right now. Wire to wire up in front has been Jeffrey Harden, but we got a long way to go. You look back off
Shane's around. Adam Shane's around. Contact with Wilson.
There is no caution. Shane slides off into the North Carolina foliage. I guess he was off the racing line, waiting for that yellow flag. Now he brings it out onto the track, and again, there is no yellow.
And the leaders are going to be right on him, too, as he gets back up to speed.
He's going to get it back going. There you see the leaders, and there you see Shane. They're coming on him.
Donnie Moore is looking to the inside of Segala again. Oh my gosh. Jeez. You know, all of a sudden, I'm real happy I'm up here and not in the car now. I think, a mic drop moment with that SK race.
Segala had that car headed straight to the wall. He gathers it up right in front of Moore and Jewell.
That's what I call a Code Brown moment. You got to change your shorts after something like that.
Good catch from the Kingpin. Adam Shane pulls it down pit lane, getting out of the way of the train that is a-coming. 17 drivers on the lead lap. Matt Hoos sitting in the lucky 15th spot. That doesn't mean a lot to Matt because his schedule doesn't allow him to race every week. So even if he finishes 15th.
No, but I'm going to tell you, him dropping back like he did, not racing like these cats are. Let's see what we're saying about Matt about lap 90. Segala is mowing grass, hitting walls. And that battle between Segala and Donnie is just epic.
Oh, and he almost gets into it with Donnie Moore. This is a great battle. Moore tries to get his nose in there. It's been the same 4 cars for the last 10 laps. Oh, Segala's loose again, and Moore finally puts him out of his misery.
Yeah, there was nothing Donnie could do right there. And man, I'm telling you, that was a wreck that took 4 laps. I mean, good Lord.
Let's go ahead and dial up Donnie Moore on that one. And Donnie and Soup up in the booth. I'm going to cut you some slack on that one. I think you put Joe Segala out of his misery. That car was a handful for the last 10 laps.
Yeah, I think he was abusing his tires there. He just said he had a handful there, so.
All right, you're up to 5th. You're on the inside line. You got anything for these guys?
No, I suspect I'll be burning up these tires in short order.
We got it. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody take a sip. One more time, I dominated the interview.
And Soup, but you asked 2 really, really good questions and got some really good information. We're not even halfway through, and Segala's used up his tires already. Donnie doesn't know how much longer he can go in his. So, you know what? We may see some attrition here, not from any accidents.
Which makes you go back and talk about 2 drivers, one at the front and one at the back. You think of Jeffrey Harden. He's really hidden his line like a smooth as a new jar of peanut butter he has been, so I don't know how hard he's working. And then you got the possum back there in Matt Hoos. I don't know. I mean, he's coming into pit lane. I doubt if there's any issue. Probably just maybe getting some damage fixed.
Yeah, I don't know because he dropped back pretty quick, but I don't know if we never figure out if it was something happened or if he was just trying to save tires. Either way, it's probably going to work out that he was saving tires. So even if there was something that happened, I'm going to bet it's going to work to his favor.
I'm going to ask Josie Kirkland if she could leave the lights on the pace car, and we'll actually talk to Hoos if she doesn't turn them off. And indeed, she leaves them on. So let's dial up Matt Hoos and try to figure out what's going on. John, I'll let you talk to him.
Hey, Matt, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Hey, Matt. Well, I'll tell you, you dropped back in a quick hurry. Strategy or something going on there?
Nah, strategy. I don't have. I'm not racing for points, so I'm trying to get the trophy.
All right, well then we're going to know where to put that camera those last 10, 15 laps because these guys are abusing these tires. Are you able to keep up the pack without really abusing them, just out of curiosity real quick?
Oh yeah, I've just been cruising.
Awesome,
just,
buddy.
Been running a little bit lap times, a little bit faster than the leader.
Well, the lights are out, buddy. Buckle up and go get them.
Yep, thank you.
It's Matt Hoos of 21, and now we know. I think, well, where is he right now? We're going to take the restart halfway through. We'll check on him, see where he's at in 25 laps.
John, you and I have been doing this for too long. It seemed like an obvious strategy, and again, that's what's going on. All right, Harden on the inside, Pearson on the outside. Harden has been leading all the way. Watch out for Holloway. I expect Holloway to get the best of Pearson. Holloway, that 23, has been really good. There is room for Pearson to come down. So for right now, if the 22 wants that spot, and he really, boy, that is some polite racing. He left that open for Holloway, even though he could have come down and closed the door. Maybe not the case going on behind him. This is Ribeye Joe Snyder and Donnie Moore. These guys are really going at it. They bump. They stay off of each other, but a little bit of a hello. Boy, they are a paper slice away from each other. Moore gets the best of that one. The Butcher of Baton Rouge trying to get down in front of Liston if he can.
Yeah, Soup, right now the tires cooled off after that caution, so those cars are feeling a lot better than what they were just 5 minutes ago, but it's not going to be long before they're like wishing they could come take tires.
It's the inside, if we watch Liston now on the inside of the light blue car of Ribeye Joe Snyder. One line burning them up worse than the other, or are they both killing each other on this one as they race side by side, and Snyder goes almost in the wall?
Yeah, and it's not the line being on the inside, it's corner exit is where you're burning them up, because if you're on the gas and you've got that wheel turned, you're just chewing up that right front and that right rear. So, you want to be on the bottom, center of the corner, but being a little bit high out, coming out of the corner, it's a little bit better on your tires.
We thought it was coming, and now it is. The 23 of Mike Holloway to the inside of Pearson. I'll tell you right now, Bruce Pearson's biggest fan this whole race has been Jeffrey Harden. He has been the cushion between what's coming. Oh, and Pearson gets a little bit of Holloway. Holloway tries to get up in front of him. Pearson says, not right now. He's going to be your long old-time Donnie Moore.
Boy, Joe Snyder did not get a good restart after that caution, and he has dropped all the way back behind Lowell and is now under pressure from the 75 there, John Wilson.
You see the 22 of Pearson dropping like a pigeon right now as Liston's going to get underneath him. The only driver with a win at this track in this car is number 45, Jason Menda. Menda started in 17th. He now is in 6th.
If I remember correctly, that was a race too where he just threw caution to the wind and said, I'm just standing on it, and the car made it to the end.
Indeed, that's really where he kind of picked up his reputation of just not caring about it, just getting out front and making them pass. Well, he's coming right now. We got a train of cars behind Donnie Moore. Liston, Pearson, Menda, Jewell, the Butcher of Baton Rouge, Joe Snyder, Wilson under attack from Trey Bloom. Let's look at this. Let's go back to the 32 of Trey Bloom. Haven't seen much of him. He's working on the champion right now, the Canadian Goose, trying to get underneath him.
Yeah, he was just recently a guest on VGN Weekly. Great conversation with Trey, getting to know him. Very fascinating guy.
Lives in very southern Canada.
That's your story and you're sticking to it.
Menda and Pearson going at it. Menda's coming.
I mean, I guess on one hand, you're right. If the French had their way, we would be all Canadian, wouldn't we?
Just to clarify for everybody, he does live in Montana. Oh no! Pearson sends Menda around.
Oh.
Menda gets into Lowell Jewell. And there he is! Trey Bloom, the Montana cancer researcher, runs into stuck traffic. Do we get a yellow?
Oh gosh, there is no yellow.
There's no yellow. Hello! Somebody wake up the stewards, they're coming! Oh, they go around Tom Hilbert.
Oh my gosh. Hey, you know, I think I saw, was it on the Dale Jr. thing? Isn't there like a distillery like under this track? Is this the track that happened at?
I believe so, and I think they are taking part in its production right now. Grape wine in a mason jar, to quote Roger Miller. I don't know. There were decapitated heads and amputated limbs out on the track, but we go green. This is how I just watched Ben-Hur. This is how they race the chariots.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, though, this has spread the field out immensely. John Wilson just a couple of laps ago was well inside the top 10, and now he's going to be fighting to stay on the lead lap.
This is what my dad used to call junkie racing. They're all strung out. Going underneath Joe Segala is our leader.
Yeah, and that incident claimed, I see both Trey Bloom and the 45 there, Jason Menda, in the pits.
But not our spotlighted driver, Alan Wanamaker, up into 19th now, 10 laps down, with lots of spots to pick up.
And he's got fresher tires because they started 8 laps before he started
That's
going.
right. Okay, we're going to turn our attention up front. This is fascinating. Holloway is taking some interesting racing lines. There is a battle going on. Although, wait a minute. Segala's a lap down, so that's Liston getting underneath Segala. All right, going back to Holloway. We're right on board with him right now. Really wide, and then this late exit in. Different line than what Harden is doing, at least through 1 and 2. And I think, John, the 23 is coming.
Yeah, you know what? He's got a lot of pressure off of him now because before they were all stacked up here. Now, with them being spread out, he doesn't have to worry about what's going on behind him. He can just concentrate on that 36 machine, and that's what he's doing. He is running them down.
Director, can we go with one of your famous stationary shots here again? Because this is going to be a different feeling than what we usually see where they all come by. Look at the gap between the cars as they are all spread out. Gap after gap after gap after gap. You will never see a bootleg race like this.
No, you sure won't. And I'll tell you, though, the guys in that 36 and 23, they do not want to see a caution. They want to see this keep going.
They will pick off the cars one by one. Let's stay on board with the leaders, and as they start to run down, John Wilson in 13th.
Yeah, that's last season's champion. That's first race of the season, now trying to stay on the lead lap.
Just tell you that Segala and Hilbert are out there, as is Kemper and Bloom. They're all multiple laps down. Everybody still racing. Menda has called it a night. Wanamaker's out there. In fact, Wanamaker just picked up a spot as he worked his way around Menda. Got to show you the paint scheme on Wanamaker. It's really good.
It is.
It's just a black and yellow number 9. We're calling it the 9 ball. It's just a real simple but real clean and real easy to spot paint scheme.
Yeah, it is. And I've always been fond of retro-looking schemes in that.
A number in a circle. You can't get much more retro than that.
We sure can't.
All right, let's go back to the leader. They're coming up on John Wilson. Unfamiliar territory for the Canadian Goose. Does he know how to get out of the way?
In fact, I'm going to go back to that number 9 with that because I'm looking at it. You know, if I'm not mistaken, last time I saw number 9 like that was in Willie Stargill's uniform. I think, wasn't he the number 9 for Pittsburgh Pirates?
You know, we have gone there a couple times. Shaggy Chapman went there as well with a Pittsburgh reference. Both leaders get underneath, but a lot of momentum gained by the 23. 2 car lengths back with 25 laps to go.
Yeah, right now, I'm wondering how much. I think the 23 is just laying back. I think he's got more there, but hey, no need to use your tires up right now. Still a long way to go.
Let's quickly check in on the number 11. A nice paint scheme on this one as well. We're talking about Brendan Meyer. Started in 15th, up 6 spots. He's all by himself. Nevertheless, having a nice run. The car behind him is Trey Bloom. That's several laps down. The car in front of him is indeed fourth position. That is Kurt Smith. So the 11th, boy, and the 11th is really coming on Smith. Won't be long until he gets there. How about checking in on the number 21, Matt Hoos? Now, I think for Hoos, the fly in the strategy and the ointment of the strategy was that kerfuffle on the straight there that cost him a ton of track position. He races in 7th. He definitely needs something yellow.
Not only him, but about 18 other guys on the track, too.
I'd like to tell you we knew what happened on that one, but I don't know how the caution could not have come out for that thing.
I think they're hitting the hooch in that underground distillery, if this in fact is the track. I mean, it's still moonshine country, so either way. Let's say it's a ghost. We're going to say it's a ghost of Junior Johnson that tripped that whole thing up.
Well, this is the start of what is American Stock Car Racing, which is all about, bootleggers. So what better place for that to happen here in the Bootleg Racing League? John, I'm sure you've seen, what is the Last American Hero, the Junior Johnson racing movie?
Yeah. Not only have I seen the movie, I've read the book.
Oh. I'm going to take you to a battle that doesn't mean anything, but I think it means more than you think. Joe Segala just got around Donnie Moore. Now, Segala is not on the same lap. Jeffrey Kemper, not on the same lap as Donnie Moore. I'm saying this because I think Moore has run out of oomph. Matt Hoos is the guy that's chasing him for a position. There's Hoos getting around the 52 of Steve Hilbert. Correction, the 25 of Tom Hilbert. I've been calling this race forever. I never realized that the Hilberts have inverted numbers, 52 and 25.
Hard.
Oh, will that bring out the yellow? No, here they come. Oh, sheesh. They were coming like a snowball rolling down the hill in Matt Hoos. Oh, Jeffrey Harden and Mike Holloway, that's not what they needed.
Yeah, now... Go ahead, sorry.
Well, the man who wanted the yellow was indeed the 21. Ouch!
Yeah, now we're gonna see who's looked after their tires and who hasn't now.
Well, we talked to Donnie Moore, and he was talking how he was going to run out of tire. He only has probably 10 laps when we go green again, as the cars drive under the beautiful puffy cloud here in North Carolina comes across the track. Maybe cools off track temperature a little bit. That may help him a bit.
Yeah, just a shame it came across the track under caution.
Yeah. All right, John, I'm going to let you talk to Mike Holloway. See what he has to say from that second spot.
Hey, Mike, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
All right, man, we're getting down to it. Pay windows open. What do you got?
I don't know. I don't think I have a whole lot more left. About the only thing I got is hoping that Jeffrey used up a little more tire than I have.
It's soup. Matt, you were taking a different racing line than Jeffrey was, at least through, like, I guess, 1 and 2, a wider entering and coming down tighter on the exit. Was that intentional? Were you experimenting, or was I not seeing it right? What do you think?
No, it was very intentional. I was experimenting a little, trying to save a little, and it's giving me good drive off, but it wasn't really gaining me much on him. So when I went back to the bottom, I started closing him in again.
Is there any way to look at Harden's car and know if he has much left?
Yeah, there's no way to tell from here. I wish there was, though.
All right, well, tell you what, we'll do an interview with him, and then if he gives us any inside information, we'll get back to you, okay?
Yeah, I'll be waiting right over here.
All right, Mike Holloway, racing in second. Experimenting with racing lines, John, was Mike Holloway.
Yeah, I mean, I just did that 90 some odd laps behind Donnie in that SK race. So, you know, if you're patient enough, sometimes that kind of stuff will pay off. You know, you start to know where you can get runs on a guy, and that's how you set up a pass. You know, sometimes it takes a few laps before you can make your move, but if you do it that way, more times than not, you can get a clean pass maybe.
You can see those puffy billows floating across the sky here in North Carolina, and indeed, at least in corners 3 and 4, they are racing in shade. Keep an eye on the man who coined the phrase consistency. Todd Liston racing in third spot, up from 12th. He could be a factor. We're going to be working lap number 2. The perfectly mesmerizing Josie Kirkland pulls the pace car down pit lane, puts control of the field in the hands of Jeffrey Harden. Jeffrey, the steaks are thawing. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn, and it is indeed Jeffrey Harden that leads the stampede down into the first corner. We talked about him. Here comes the 87 of Todd Liston, but he doesn't have anything for the outside momentum of Mike Holloway. They get that sorted out. They are still 2x2 racing behind him. That is the Butcher of Baton Rouge, Joe Snyder inside. Bruce Pearson. Oh, there's a yellow flag coming somewhere.
Yes, there is. I'm probably about 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Kurt Smith just came down in front of Steve Hilbert. I don't know how Hilbert missed him. They are racing hard, and they are racing recklessly in the back. Okay, we're going to focus our attention up top now for the final handful of laps. I think I just saw Harden get loose out of 2, and it brought right on his tail Mike Holloway. Holloway on Liston tighter than a fat man in a scuba suit. They drive into 1. Holloway takes it in deeper than beatnik poetry. They come out of 2, and the momentum to the top side to Harden. Watching in the popcorn position with butter on his racing gloves is Todd Liston. 1, 2, 3, great racing up front. They work lap 96.
One mistake, and you're going to either be a hero or a zero, depending on which side of the coin you're on this one.
Oh, my goodness. Harden can taste the flavors of the steak in his mouth right now, but he is definitely slower than Holloway. I've seen him get loose a couple times. Now the gap opens up to 2 car lengths. But look at Holloway close it through the final part of 2. A good run from Liston out of 2 as they go down the back straight. Working the outside now is Holloway. He's going to try it out there. That's not going to work. Let's see if he gets momentum and can get a run down into corner number 1. But that opens the door for Liston. Liston's going to tried to drive down in there. Now they're side by side. That is great news for Harden. If they battle behind him, it's going to make the driving easier up front. He's looking to go wire to wire. He's led 97 laps. He only has to come across the line and lead 2 more. Is Jeffrey Harden. The battle for second continues. Both those drivers, Liston and Holloway, faster than your leader right now. If they could just get it settled, they might have something from them. But time is running out. Tick tock. The miles are clicking away, and now they come across the line. The white flag is out. 4 corners to go. It's Liston on the bottom time. We are not going to get the yellow. We're going to finish under green. 2 corners to go for Harden. Liston makes a run. Liston's going to get second, but he has nothing for Jeffrey. Fire up the grill. Put the steaks on the burner. Jeffrey Harden gets the win. Todd Liston gets second. Mike Holloway will have to settle for third. My goodness. Passing was at a premium, but in both events tonight, this track put on a great show. We started with 21 drivers, 11 finished on the lead lap. Our spotlighted driver, Alan Wanamaker, will get 17th. My partner, John Hine, picked the over. He'll be right on that one. Whew, the racing is over. Our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break, come back, and run down the entire finishing order. Talk to Harden, Liston, and Holloway before we put a lock on the gate. Don't go far. You're watching, what else? The Virtual Grip Network.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We're back. You're back. From North's Wilkesboro Speedway, this is VGN's coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's Late Model Invitational Series, the opening round for Season 27. The results are in. Let's give them to you now. There are wire-to-wire victories, and there are wire-to-wire victories. This one was hard fought for, and we're talking what Jeffrey Harden was able to do as he picks up the win. From 12th to 2nd goes Todd Liston. Mike Holloway, perhaps the fastest car out there the entire night, could only get 3rd as he ended up in a battle for 2nd with Liston at the end that made Jeffrey Harden's life a lot easier. A very quiet run from Brendan Myers, 15th to 4th. Well done from him. Bruce Pearson in the double deuce comes home in 5th. The back half of your top 10 was Ribeye Joe Snyder, Lowell Jewell, up 5 spots for Kurt Smith. Your defending champion, the Canadian Goose, John Wilson, will have to settle for 9th, and honestly, he'll probably be happy to take that one. And rounding out your top 10, the Lipper, Chris Hayslip.
Coming home 11th is going to be Donnie Moore, followed by Jeff Kemper. Joe Segala, 13th, with Stephen Hilbert coming home 14th. And 15th will be the other Hilbert, Thomas Hilbert, coming home in 15th. Trey Bloom will be 16th. 17th will be Alan Wanamaker. Matt Hoos will be 18th. 19th will be Jason Menda. 20th, Adam Shane. And 21st, the guy that was in the first caution, me.
Not sure how that happened. Let's open it up and talk to Jeffrey Harden here, your winner. Jeffrey, there are wire-to-wire wins that are easy. There are wire-to-wire wins you had to work for. This was a tough one.
Yeah, the first half wasn't as bad, but man, that last half of the race got pretty rough.
There was, now you're out in front, so maybe you didn't realize it till you came around. There was a multi-car incident where cars were all over the track, and the yellow did not come out. When you came around, did you realize there had been an issue of any type?
No, I came around the corner and all of a sudden there was cars there. I lifted pretty hard. I lost a lot of time. I think I lost like 3-4 tenths.
Indeed. You didn't need that last yellow. You having a nice little battle with Holloway, and then that last yellow brought them all together.
Yeah, well, it might have worked out in my favor. On that restart, I couldn't get away, so I figured if I can back him up close enough to Todd, maybe Todd will start fighting with him and have to defend, and I can get away then.
People who had working their way through the pack were killing their tires, and they had nothing left at the end. You were out front the whole time, able to hit your racing line. Were you pretty good at the end?
I was until that last restart. It felt like butter after that.
Well, it was fun to watch you race. I know your girls got something good cooking up for you now with the victory. Way to start the season, buddy.
I think if I can, I want to give a shout out to my new grandson, Lane Thomas Moore. He was born yesterday. He'll be a future BRL champion. Give him about 16 years.
All right. Lane, welcome to the world and welcome to the VGN broadcast. Congratulations, Jeffrey. Well done.
Thank you, Sue.
Oh, that's a good weekend for Jeffrey. Picks up our opening win in the season opener and grandson as well. All right, who you got?
Well, I've got the second place finisher, Todd Liston. And Todd, what a heck of a race you had there today.
Yeah, that was an exciting one for sure. It was definitely real competitive, especially there at the end.
Yeah, you were able to make a heck of a bid there and grab second. How much conserving did you do up until that final caution with tires?
Well, the first half of the race, I had to burn off quite a bit trying to get my way up. I tried to conserve where I could, and once I got into third and saw a little gap form behind me, I was like, well, the only chance I really got is to outsave them because they were definitely quicker than me in the moment. So I did a lot of conserving late in the race, and right there at the end, I think I might have saved some tire, but I don't think I saved quite enough.
Were you aware of why there was a gap behind you all of a sudden?
No, I figured something happened, but
half the field wrecked and there was no caution. I think they were hitting some of that Carolina moonshine there from the scorer's stand.
yeah, I wasn't too sure. I saw cars behind me, and then I looked up after the next corner, and I didn't see anybody, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's such an interesting feeling, isn't it? Where'd everybody go? Well, I tell you, once you got up there, were you hoping that you had better tires, or did you kind of know that you could kind of do what you did to get up there? Sometimes somebody's in front of you and you can see them dancing around. Were you confident, or were you just hopeful?
Well, after we started working our way around the lap cars, I definitely knew I was getting at least even with them, or they were starting to wear down because they had built a little bit extra on the gap, but I was starting to slowly cut it down. So I figured I probably had a little bit on them at that point, and I actually started driving a little harder then because I thought, well, my crew chief hadn't been yelling at me, so I must have a little extra. And sure enough, that caution came. That gave me some of the gap I needed to at least get back in it and be competitive.
Hey, well, congratulations on the drive tonight and getting up there. Good points tonight. Good way to start the season. And hey, guess what? We're going to see you Tuesday on VGN Weekly.
Sure are. Looking forward to it and looking forward to next week.
Absolutely. Well, Todd, thank you very much, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, Joe.
That's Todd Liston. And Soup, I think you've caught up with the final podium finisher.
I have indeed. Mike, we were just talking to Jeffrey Harden, the winner. He said he was racing on butter at the end. That darn Todd Liston wouldn't leave you alone. You couldn't get a chance at the leader.
Yeah, I fouled up there with 2 or 3 to go and overdrove turn 1 a little bit, allowed Todd to get in there, but otherwise I think I had him covered.
It was a pretty good race. We think you might have had something for Harden at the end. We thought you were the fastest car all night. A handful, though, eh?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. And last 20 laps or so, I was anyway, sliding around a little bit, but it didn't get as bad as I expected it to. I was getting the tire warning from the crew chief, but it still felt fairly decent.
Did you have an understanding of why suddenly there were no cars behind you and the field was all scattered out? Did you catch what happened there?
I caught it whenever I was following Jeffrey there, and we came off 2, and there was cars littered all over the backstretch.
Were you able to get through? Did you have to lift much?
I never even cracked the throttle because I saw the caution didn't come out, so I saw an opportunity to try to take Jeffrey there. We went 3 wide down the backstretch. He was on the inside, I was on the outside, and some lap car in the middle, and it didn't work out so well for me.
Yeah, Hardin said he had to lift a little bit and he lost a lot of ground on you. Well, it was fun to watch you race, man. You put on a good show. Congratulations, a hard-fought 3rd place.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, Mike Holloway, your 3rd place finisher here tonight, and a previous guest on VGN Weekly. And I can't wait to watch coming up this week as Todd Liston is going to be on that show. That'll be interesting as he talks about his progression as from back marker to mid-packer to now champion. It'll be good. That's going to be coming up Tuesday night, released Tuesday morning. So watch YouTube for that one, or the YouTube channel on VGN. Meanwhile, let's talk about when we'll be back. It will be next week. You can see right there. First, it'll be the SK Modifieds, and then later in the night, the late models, and we'll be coming to you from Slinger Speedway. They always put on a good show. Those broadcasts, future broadcasts, all past broadcasts, and even VGN Weekly are a production of the Virtual Grip Network. With that said, our broadcast is just about over. Going to head into the coat room, look for your hat. I don't see a hat. I'm just going to give you a fist bump and say, until next time, have fun storming the castle.